Welcome to the TMC Newsroom. My name is Rich Tehrani. Thanks for watching us today. We're down here in IT Expo 2011, or IT Expo West 2011 in Austin, Texas. On our program is Chad Kissinger. He is the founder of OnRamp. Chad, welcome to the show.
Welcome. Thank you. Welcome to Austin. We appreciate you all coming out to visit us here in the heat. Hopefully it'll cool down soon.
Oh, we love it. So it's a great city. It's like we talked about off camera, thriving economy, lots of technology.
Doing
well,
very
something
well.
to love, right?
Yeah, yes. We like it a lot.
So tell me a little bit about your company.
Well, OnRamp is a data center operations company. We operate in the co-location, managed service, disaster recovery, and high security private cloud area. And we differentiate ourselves by offering what we call full 7-layer support. Rather than just provide an infrastructure for companies, we worry about all the way up to the application, how they're going to deploy an application and support that application. We support all the way up to the application layer. So full 7-layer support.
So how does that help customers?
Well, customers know that when they outsource their infrastructure or place their infrastructure outside of their immediate control, that they'll have a partner that's not just worried about keeping that infrastructure up, but worried about keeping their application delivering and performing in the manner that they want to. So rather than just worrying about our co-location being up or managed services or disaster recovery or clouds, we're actually watching our customers' applications that they're delivering to the internet and that they're accomplishing the things that the customer intended to accomplish.
So how has OnRamp evolved to deal with things like just cloud computing, the cloud computing explosion we've seen in the last few years, and also virtualization?
Well, that's a good question. You know, we started off as a co-location provider and have evolved into a much different type of provider. We specialize in what we call hybrid cloud solutions, which means that we have the physical presence of a co-location provider, but we also, being an HP partner and a Microsoft certified partner, a Cisco partner, and VMware and Citrix partner, are able to deploy a private cloud infrastructure for companies. We actually own the equipment and provide the virtualized equipment that they can use to run their business on. So it allows us to service customers that don't want just co-location or cloud computing, but they want a hybrid of the two. They want to have some equipment, yet have a service provider provide some infrastructure for purposes of disaster recovery or scalability or emergency, bringing operations off of their co-location and emergency, things like that. So we've really evolved in being able to offer all of the levels of cloud computing, from the traditional co-location all the way up through private clouds and managed hosting, to helping them get out into public clouds. That kind of hybridization of the cloud computing, that's where one of our real specialties.
Do you also offer other cloud options?
So we have, in addition to just traditional private cloud computing, we have some kind of interesting flavors on that. We have a product that we call Ready Servers, where we actually, and it's one of our new products that we're announcing here at the show, where for our co-location customers or our private cloud customers, we have pre-populated servers that already have hypervisors on them and virtualization software and vCenter and things like that are pre-provisioned and ready to go and are standing by in the case that the customer needs to expand really quickly or they need to replace some failed equipment or something like that. So we have these Ready Servers sitting right next to them. So a co-location customer that's in our data center that might not ever expect to rent some equipment from somebody or use somebody else's equipment, if they are already virtualized in an emergency, they can really quickly adopt that model. They can really quickly pull in infrastructure that we're controlling and to supplement the ones that they're doing. So Ready Servers is one of the big kind of special flavors of private cloud. We also are specializing in high security clouds. We see a big evolving security need for tight security in clouds, and we specialize in that area.
Now you mentioned hybrid hosting. I'm curious, what sorts of customers are interested in that sort of solution?
So hybrid hosting traditionally, or customers, a lot of customers that are very interested in it have used traditional co-location in the past. So they'll have 4 or 5, 6 racks of servers. Maybe they've refreshed a lot of that, but they've got some servers they're starting to get to end of life, and maybe they are companies that see virtualization as of having a lot of promise, but they're not real aware of how to do it, and they're not comfortable with doing it. So what they can do is come in and keep their co-location, and then as their older equipment starts going out of service, we build a private cloud for them, help them do the permanent to virtual transition, and slowly migrate that business over onto the private, or those applications over onto the private cloud. and interact it. So for a period of time, usually for years, it appears like it's going to be, we have people that are operating in both environments, and then on an application-by-application basis, they can make the decision on whether it's appropriate to keep that application in a traditional, very controlled co-location environment where they're controlling all the equipment and have to do everything, or whether it makes sense to put it in a public or private cloud with us, where they still have isolated equipment that's dedicated to them, but they're not having to worry about how the infrastructure works and all of that behind that.
Now, are your customers asking for compliance for HIPAA or PCI so that they can work with you?
Certainly. In fact, that's a big area. As I mentioned, we specialize in high security clouds. We're seeing a big development of companies needing a tighter, secure environment. In fact, one of the big things that has changed recently is that they've changed the laws surrounding HIPAA. It used to be that a lot of these the people that were tangentially involved with keeping patient records or healthcare records just had to take reasonable care in protecting those records. And we have a lot of people in the IT industry that were those type of companies. Maybe they were keeping backup tapes, or they were repairing the computers of the company, or maybe they were a managed services provider that was going in and supporting doctors' offices. They previously didn't really have to follow HIPAA rules. They just had to take reasonable care. Well, the law changed about 1.5 years ago, and now those companies, the providers, the IT providers, and the people that are going into those places, the software as a service providers that are dealing with healthcare information, they are covered by HIPAA now, and they have criminal and civil liability to protect that information in very specific ways. And what we do is we've developed clouds, the private clouds, and then business processes that help those type of people become compliant in a quick fashion and an efficient fashion.
What's next for the company?
Well, we're expanding rapidly. We're expanding with this, obviously, these private clouds, and HIPAA compliance is a big opportunity for us because we see a lot of people need it really quickly. We're growing here in Austin. We're announcing the mechanical and physical expansion of our data center here in Austin. When it builds out, it's going to be one of the densest data centers in this part of the country, power-wise. And we'll be able to handle high-density computing and expand out further beyond that. So as soon as we're have completed that construction, which should be done in the next 6 months, 6 to 7 months is kind of our time frame. We're going to move on to another data center right after that.
Very exciting. Thanks for being on the program.
Thank you, and welcome to Austin again.